How would you react to being thrown in jail for doing what you thought was right? Well, Nelson Mandela, the leader of South Africa, was just trying to defend his country, and in 1964, he got thrown in jail for it. He was accused of being a terrorist, and all he's trying to do in this speech is prove that he isn't. This speech is all about him trying to persuade the judge to let him go, because he's not a terrorist. He doesn't deserve to be thrown in jail. And one of the things that he does to achieve this goal is using very strong words. And the point of this speech is to get people to know the truth. In this speech, Mandela clearly states that the violence we chose to adopt was not terrorism. And when he says this, he's referring to the violence that he had to take in order to get his country out of a state of inferiority. Above all, we want equal political rights. He says this to convince the judge that they want equal rights, not for one race to be above another in any sort of way. In an attempt to win the judge over, Mandela uses words that will induce strong emotions. The lack of human dignity by Africans is the direct result of the policy of white supremacy. The word white supremacy is a word that will often induce feelings of hatred towards the person who is trying to get this white supremacy, which is not Mandela. And he also says, we did not want an interracial war, and we tried to avoid it to the last minute. An interracial war is another very strong word, because no one wants a war of any kind, but especially not one between races. The purpose of this speech is to get the truth out and to prove that he isn't a terrorist. He says things like, I do not, however, deny that I planned to sabotage, and I admit immediately that I was one of the persons who helped to form Umkahanto. Both of these quotes show that he's telling the whole truth and not just the part that makes him look good. In conclusion, Nelson Mandela used a mix of strong words and telling the whole truth to persuade the judge that he wasn't a terrorist. In 1964, the leader of South Africa was put in jail for trying to get his country on top instead of always being an underdog. Maybe it could have been done without violence, but he was tired of always being the underdog, tired of his country always being looked down upon. He just wanted South Africa to be on top for once. Is that so wrong?